Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another session of Moldex 3D's webinar series. The topic for today is how to predict flow-induced surface defects. My name is Srikar Valluri, and I'll be your host today. Now, before we get started, there are just a few ground rules I'd like to state for everyone's benefit. Please do keep your microphones muted so that it'll allow everyone to listen in without any disturbances. If you have any questions, please send your questions using the chat box, and I'd be more than happy to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. Finally, you will be receiving a short survey at the end of the webinar. Please fill it out, and you'll also be getting the recording of the webinar. With that said, let's dive into the topic. Here's a brief outline of what we're going to be looking at today. Now, the topic says surface defects, so we're going to briefly take a look at what are the different kinds of surface defects out there for injection molded parts. Where do stress marks come into play? We're also going to take a look at an intrinsic property of any plastic resin, which is viscoelasticity, and then tie these two together, talk about how does this underlying property impact your surface appearance, stress marks, and we're going to look at 3 different types of case studies. Each case study would deal with a different issue. One would be dealing with tiger stripes. Another would be dealing with cosmetic defects like stress marks. And the third would be optical components. So when you talk about surface defects, they can be very varied, right? You can have well lines, sink marks. You're talking about some kind of flow marks or burn marks. Now, the causes for any or all of these stress marks, again, could be very different. Some stress marks could be caused by temperature imbalances. Others could be caused by pressure issues, geometry-induced issues, or even residual stresses in the parts. Now, these residual stresses could be because of flow or thermal or a combination of both. So depending on multiple different factors, the kind of stress marks or surface defects you have on your part can be very different. In this particular webinar, we are going to focus on stress marks, a subcategory of surface defects.